Now, it is my pleasure, my honor to introduce a friend and someone who's going to blow you away and change your mind, bring you to the highest elevation of confidence and getting your business running on automatic. It's Mike Agugliaro. Woo! Crush it, brother.
All right, good afternoon. How is everybody? No, come on. How is everybody? All right, who saw me speak here before? Anybody? Raise your hand. Oh, and you came back. That's cool. So I mapped out something when Mike asked me to come, and I mapped out a journey for us to go on today that I promise you, and you could hold me accountable to this, that if you play full out and go on this journey, yeah, here's a paper flipping, you should have a piece of paper open. Just like my employees, I tell them, like, never come in front of me without a paper and a pad. Because that means if you come without a paper and pad, you're pretty sure I'm going to deliver no value. So get a pad and paper, or whatever you're going to do. Tablet is fine, but we are going to do something with pen and paper, an exercise, and I promise when we get there, you won't want to do that with the tablet. Let me give you a little bit about myself. I always start with the most important thing first. One, I am an extremely lucky husband. I am with my beautiful goddess of a wife for over 33 years, since we're 15 years old in school together. And yeah, and the reason I say that is because a lot of stuff that I'm going to share with you, I will not tell you the journey has always been easy. Some of you can relate to that, but I'm going to tell you it's been extremely rewarding. And some of the pieces of what I'm going to share with you, you know, it's one thing to be together. And I mean, who's been in a relationship over 10 years? Raise your hand. 15 years? 20? 30? Okay. Well, you know, it's one thing to be together in a relationship for a long time, but there's a difference between being in a relationship and every night it's just, you know, you sit here, the bag of chips are here, and your significant other's there, versus being passionately in love. Would you say that? There's a big difference there. A lot of people, complacency sets in, and like at one time my wife and I had a conversation and I said, you know, I don't mind sweatpants sometimes, but I don't like them all the time, right? And some of you are laughing because you're like, yeah, that's where we're at. We just wear sweatpants and that's it. So that, I would say, is one of my greatest accomplishments based on what I'm going to share with you. Besides, I am a father, and I'm a very excited father because for two things. One, I have a 19-year-old son. Who has a son in the room? Raise your hand. Okay, so you just know what it's like to, especially from a man's perspective, to have a son. Now, if my son was here, you would be a little confused between him and Bigfoot right now. I'm just being honest with you. He's 6'1". He has a big beard. He's like 270 pounds, and he's just like, give me a hug, Dad, you know? And I'm just like, oh, thanks, son. I'm just such a little man next to him. And I have a 16-year-old beautiful daughter who's an amazing artist. But who has a daughter that is anywhere from 12 to 18? Raise your hand. Okay, now I gotta be upfront with you. This is the most challenging thing I've ever done in my life. I'm not kidding you. Grow a business, 200 employees, couple $100 million in 10 years, piece of cake. 16-year-old, now this is an experience. And I don't, you know, we're at that first boyfriend stage. Yeah, you hear that noise that you all did? My wife says it's completely unacceptable for me when he comes over. Like, I all of a sudden start to train martial arts with my sword when he comes over. And she says to me, babe, that's just not like, someone's going to go to jail. It's probably going to be you. And I'm like, what do you mean? It's just a sword, right? So we're going through this whole experience. And I am a martial artist of 33 years. Any other martial artists in the room? Anybody watch UFC? Raise your hand. Okay, that's close enough, right? I mean, you think you know what you're doing. And I'm a tattoo artist. I'm a tattoo artist for over 20 years. So this part, if you're not freaked out by me by the end, like my wife says to me, she goes, let me tell you something. Don't expect people to understand you, Mike. She says, you're a purple unicorn. We're pretty sure they exist. We've just never saw one before, right? So I am a tattoo artist who enjoys actually a tattoo myself. So, you know, who's got tattoos in the room? Who does not have a tattoo? You all have time, okay? Is that cool? It's not over. You don't have to worry about what anybody thinks no more. Now, what have I done? Why do I go around and speak at different things? And what I've done is, who's from New Jersey? Raise your hand. Okay, so if you're from New Jersey or not, I just sold my business a year and a couple months ago. I grew a company, and some of the things I want to talk about is I started a company when I was 24 years old. It was called Gold Medal Electric. It was an electrical contracting company, and I'm just a normal guy, so I don't have no college education. I have a vocational school education, East Brunswick Vocational School. And just so you know, back then, and maybe it's still the same way today, you have high school, and then you have VOTech. And then there's kind of this divide where I don't know who decides it. Maybe it's parents or society. They just kind of looked at me and they're like, yep, not college material, vocational school material, right? And then I became an electrician, and then right out of school working for people, and I don't know about you, I figured out really quick that I was going to be not a really good employee because I thought everyone, what they were doing was just, there's got to be a better way. So I went into my own business because I figured if that idiot I worked for was able to have his own business with a name, why not me? Right? I mean, he's no smarter than me. He went through a vocational school. And all he does is drink coffee and complain every day. So I figured I'm going to have the dream. Which maybe like a lot of you did the same thing. But didn't you know it, like the dream turned in for me kind of like a horror story. Not so much horror like I got hurt. I was extremely strong while I was doing it. But I was getting fatigued and burnt out. Anybody relate to fatigue and burnout? Yeah. So I always say I'm a little slow. It's 10 years of this grinding. And you know the funny thing, I don't know about you guys, I know maybe tax season, there's no breath of air, right? Well, when you're a contractor, electrician, plumber, whatever it is, like does that stuff just stop breaking? Like it only breaks before 5 and after 9 in the morning? It doesn't. And when you're in your own business, tell me, when does business stop? Ever? It doesn't. It's 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And for 10 years, we're grinding it out, we're doing it. And we get to a point where my partner walks in, and I'd like to tell you the story. I don't want to tell you stories for enjoyment or excitement, even though some of them you'll laugh at my pain, and that's okay. But I tell it to you because I need to set a really strong foundation for what I'm going to teach you, and then what is going to be possible, not later taking what I teach you, but we're going to make it possible right now. So my partner comes in one morning, and anybody have a business partner? Raise your hand. Did anybody ever have one and they're not around the business partner? Look at all those hands now. So you can relate. So my business partner comes in one morning and he says to me, he goes, I'm done. Now let me ask you a question. Who's my Italians in the room? Italians? Okay, if I slip and say a curse word, is that okay? Are you sure I need everybody? Because I never know when the Italian in me is going to come out. And when it comes out, like my dad taught me a hell of a vocabulary. Okay. So let's get back to my partner. He comes in, I'm sitting down, I'm getting ready for the job, and he comes in and he goes, I'm out of here. And I said, oh, okay, I'll see you tomorrow. I thought he had a case of the shits or something. You know? Like, there was no warning of this. There was no warning. And all of a sudden he's like, nope, Mike, you don't get this. I'm done. I'm burnt out. I'm fatigued. I can't take it. I can't take it. I can't take the early mornings. I can't take the late nights. Now in contracting, as you guys know, and I'm sure all of you have done a remodeling or gardening or something, your knees, who in here, your knees are just starting to feel a little different? Yeah, you're like, man, even sitting in the chair, like it's aching a little bit. And I said to him something he never expected. I said, you're out, I'm out. What'd you think? Like, you're just gonna leave and be free and I'm gonna die here? Like, that ain't how that stuff's gonna go down, right? I'm like, you're out, I'm out. And he's like, no, you don't go nowhere. Keep growing this thing. Keep doing the business. You're great at it. And I'm like, no. You don't understand. We started together, we end together. And then, I don't know, you know, time, who feels like I'm 48 now, but who's starting to feel like time's starting to distort itself a little bit? Raise your hand. Like your story you tell like it's yesterday, it was 30 years ago, right? You have no idea. So, but back then, it was like a couple days went by, I did the job, he came, we got back together, and I said, look, what about this? What about, and I got chills as I talk about it, I said, what if we don't quit? But what if we found some of the smartest people in the world, and we went and trained from them? And I said to him, I was telling him this, and he says, Mike, we don't even have money. How are we going to have money to go train with great people in the world? And then I pulled out and I was like, but we have this Amex card. And they seem to not care what we put on this card, right? They don't seem to care at all. And he looked at me and he goes, now he's an Italian, I'm Italian. He goes, that's a good point. So we went out and we embarked on this journey. And then, so now I'm going to take it back just only 12 years ago from today. It's about 12 years, 11 and a half. We made this conscious decision, which maybe, pivot points are interesting. I heard Brad up here say, which after I had a whole bunch of slides, but after I seen what happened with that thing, I was like, forget this shit. You know what I mean? No, I'm just kidding. I got no slides at all. But I got no slides. I got these cards and that board there. But he said pivot. And this might be your pivot point right here, because at the point me and my partner made this decision, we made a decision that we were going to walk to the edge. And I know some of you might be there right now, or you've been there, or you're in the transition of going there. And we said, here's the deal. We're going to jump. Now, there's a funny thing about when you jump, especially when you jump and you don't have a parachute. There's only a couple options there. And me and my partner were ready for any of the options. Option one was jump, and just like you see those little cartoons, they just kind of fall to the ground. They're like, we were dying anyway. What did it matter? It didn't matter if we flattened on the ground. Option number two was we jumped and leaped so hard that we landed on the other side. And that's what we did. So we focused down, and in less than 10 years, we went from under $1 million, and pretty much 4 of us. I always say it was me and my partner and 2 not very intelligent helpers. Did you ever work with anybody that you swear that they're not lefty, but they have 5 left hands? You ever work with that? They just can't get anything right. That was our hell we lived in. And so we went from that just 10 years ago, under $1 million, 4 of us grinding out, burning, to 10 years later, we did over $200 million. We did $32 million just a year ago. And that's not impressive. I think what's impressive, and I want to give a little kudos to Mike, because I know Mike for many years now, and I applied the profit first to our company. So not only were we 32 million, we were double-digit profit. Is that good? Yeah, let me tell you something. In my industry and service, that's incredible. And we were anybody in New Jersey, and those of you that don't know, it doesn't matter. We were so strong and so powerful in New Jersey, 165 of these yellow and black trucks labeled gold medal, that these competitors that tried to, and I'm going to talk probably about market penetration and market share and give you some real ninja stuff, because that's why I mapped this out, because I mapped this out for this talk. This is not some generic thing I've did before. I mapped this out for you guys, because Mike said bring this thing that's just going to be almost like mind-altering magic, that when you leave out that door, it's changed forever. And so as we're there, and I want you to know, at 165 trucks, 200 employees, people trying to enter our market, which they couldn't, because I built such a wall, out of nowhere, all of a sudden, they start chasing us. Because if you only have a couple choices if you can't beat them. Like, there's a couple things. If you can't beat them, you can just blow them up and kill them or something. I mean, that's the warrior's way, right? Number 2, if you can't beat them, well, you could buy them. Isn't that true? So before you know it, just a year and a couple months ago, we lightly went out for bid on our company to see, because they were chasing us, all these people. We had 11 companies fight for us, and then a $40 billion company came in and just swooped us up. Is that good? Yeah, it's amazingly good. Now here's the thing. We didn't care if we sold. Some of the things I'm going to talk about, because our company, my partner and I, didn't even have an office in our building in East Brunswick. We have a 15,000 square foot building. We didn't even have an office there. We did not go there every day. For 5 years, we got this company that was doing whatever, 32 million to run by itself. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit about that. Is that a sense of freedom, everybody? But it takes skill to do that, and I'm going to teach you some of the skills, because if you don't, it is kind of like a paint by numbers. It is. But if you miss one of the, you remember your kids, you're like paint by numbers, but they don't really know how to count to 32, and they miss one number. Instead of looking like a duck, it looks like a pigeon or something. You got that, right? So it is a paint by numbers that I want to share with you, and I want to give you this step that has to happen. Now, I do some talking. I spoke to Samsung the other day. I'm always honored when Mike brings me out to speak to you guys. Anybody know Jay Abraham at all? Okay, if you don't, you may want to. I mean, he's the $9.4 billion guy. I'm in his documentary that's coming out. And I don't say that to impress you like, oh, Mike's around really cool people. Because I'm here in jeans and, you know, I'm really an average guy at heart. I don't have a 10,000 square foot home. I'm a real conservative, just humble guy. I say it because what we're going to go through, I've applied it to gold medal service to take it to the point of selling a double-digit profit company for the highest EBITDA that has happened in the last 100 years in my industry. And I applied it to this company here, which is what I do today, CEO Warrior. Now, I'm not talking to you about CEO Warrior except for any other thing except in my industry that I do, which is plumbing, HVAC, electrician, pest control, this type of stuff. I applied the same strategies. And in 5 years, we're now working with 160 companies all over United States, Australia, Canada, and we have become the top training and coaching organization pretty much on the planet for taking a company and doubling, if not tripling its size in a year. Now that's the important part that I want you to really understand. But you, just like all of you with pivoting, there's turning points in life, right? Now, and if we could just be, you know, open and honest in the room, we'll do the what happens in Vegas, what? Yeah, and then someone totally messed this up on me. They said that's true except gonorrhea or something like that. And I was like, whoever thinks or shares something like that? I'm like, you ruined what I would say for 5 years forever now. Now I have to have, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, a disclaimer, gonorrhea and bad diseases or something, right? I'm like, this is crazy. But if we could be transparent with each other, who's been on their own since they're like 15 years old or so, real young? Yeah, that's me too. I'm at 15 years old. My parents go through a vicious divorce, and I'm going to share where a turning point is here that is just so important because, again, I want to take you through this journey of shifting that I'm in an apartment with my 17-year-old brother. I know how to survive off of a couple things. Did you ever eat oodles and noodles? Yeah, like it's 25 cents a pack, and you think like you're eating the best Chinese food on the planet. At least that's what you convince yourself of, because you can't afford, you know, Chang's chicken down the road. But you could get 5 of these, right, for $1 on the special. And Steakums, because that was about the only steak I could afford, and cook, and you can't mess it up, because even if you cook it for an hour, it still has the same rubbery texture. Isn't that true? But at 15 years old, if I was to take you there, I had a night, well, I bumped into some relatives that were on my mom's side, and they said something to me that I'll never forget. I was in the mall. Now, if I do not look like this when I'm 15 years old. Let me just paint a picture. I have some tattoos. I have a chain wallet. Now, tell me the truth. Who owned a chain wallet? If you wear a chain wallet, you're just cool. Some of you are still wearing a chain wallet, right? It's like, you know, when you're like semi-cool, it's about this long, but when you're real cool, it hangs in. Isn't that true? Chain wallet, cut off jeans, some kind of guinea tee, because, you know, that's what you got to wear if you're Italian. It's got like, you got to have all the hair hanging out on your arm, right? And I bumped into the mall, and somehow we had a conversation. They said, listen, they said, good luck with you. You'll fail like the rest of them. And I thought, like, man, that was super painful. Not too much for me, because I just give them, like, you know, my dad taught me something. Do you want me to share it with you? But it might be a little edgy. Is it okay? Yeah. You sure? Yeah. Okay, it'll be funny, but it's a little edgy. So my dad says, whenever people, like, really annoy you, he says, you do this. Do you know what that is? He says it's 5 of those. Yeah, so I figured I can't get in trouble, so I'm kind of doing this, right, Adam, and probably said a whole bunch of inappropriate stuff at 15 years old. But that's not the important part. The important part is at nighttime. Did you ever have that night, and it might be for you yesterday or last week or last year, where you stare at the ceiling and have a conversation with yourself? Did you ever have this? Yeah, and I started to say to myself, there's 2 directions at 15. In vocational school, you got to remember, and probably from the same for some of you, I'm from the age where in the back of the bus, Like there was stuff going on that today ain't gonna happen. There's cocaine, there's marijuana. Today that marijuana is legal all over. Back then, there hits of acid. They're doing stuff that I couldn't believe. I never did drugs my entire life. I never smoked. I remember I'm a unicorn, right? I don't drink any alcohol. I never did. I don't eat any gluten. I don't do any caffeine. I don't wait. This is self-generated monster machine, right? I like to make that clear because all of you have this, but it was that conversation at night that leads me into this pivot point that I would prove the world wrong. And I want you to write down in your pad, just write prove the world wrong, because I think everybody has a world to prove wrong. Like, I don't know if it's your job, your community, your family, but everybody wants to prove this big thing that they could change the game forever. And when I made that decision, I saw my path just shift. So when people say to me, did you know you'd be really successful? I said, well, let me tell you the story of Walt Disney, and I'll give you my version of it. You guys all know Disney, and there's a couple young guys that were building stuff in Disney World, and then there's that veteran guy there, been there a long time, and the two young guys go, oh, wouldn't it be amazing if Walt saw this, right? And then you know what the old timer says. He says, what made you think Walt didn't see this? He built this long before. And I think it goes back to this thinking of what world will you prove wrong? And instead of hanging out in the world of pain, what if we just change that where it became fuel and understanding? Because that's what it started to take me on this life struggle. Did you ever find yourself at one time in your life you were ecstatic happy? Raise your hand if you were just like, it was almost like bliss, right? And if you're next to somebody who's not raising their hand, just poke them in the stomach or something, okay? Let's just make sure they're awake in here. Because I get it. Who's an introvert in this room? Be honest with me. Introvert? Yeah, I could tell that. I'm a classic introvert. You know how you know an introvert? I go to a picnic, and I need two things. I need a human and a corner. Isn't that true? And I'll just go to that corner, and you guys are probably like, how's that possible? He's on stage. I forced myself to do this. I go to the corner, and we'll talk about all kinds of stuff, and God forbid if he has to go to the bathroom or something, I'm out. As soon as he goes to the bathroom, I'm like, hey, it was nice, everybody, and I'm gone. So challenge your introverted self today to playful out, because I promise you, when we're done, today, tonight, tomorrow, you're going to be telling Mike and the team, like, this changed my life. That's the target for me here. And let me share that real quick, because I wasn't going to share that, but I'm gonna. Has anybody ever had a goal to do anything, lose weight? Have you ever had a goal to lose weight? Raise your hand. And did you ever not hit that goal? Raise your hand. Okay, yeah. Me too. And what happens with goals is that you've been trained that if you get close or don't hit it, it's kind of okay, isn't it? You're like, yeah, this is fine. What I'd like you to do, and I just thought of it now, which started to happen for me, so I'll share the value, is I changed everything from goals to the word target. And I want you to write this down right now. This is such an important thing. And in the room here, do I have any veterans or anybody? Raise your hand if I have any vets. Okay, first off, let's hear it for our veterans, everybody. Thank you. Thank you. But I gotta ask the veterans a question. When the military sees, do they say our goal today is to try to take down the enemy? Or do they say that is the what? Target. That's the target. And do they miss? No, they don't miss. They might adjust slightly, but they don't miss. They take the target down. This is so key because when I started to change during my journeys of life struggles from goals to destinations in time, targets, the whole thinking changed on it. Because the target's a destination in time that must be achieved. It must be achieved. And would it be cool, I mean, why I'm talking, sometimes things that are so huge in value that changed my life, my employee's life, made me millions and millions of dollars. If it snaps in my head, but it's not part of my agenda here, can I share it? Yes. Are you sure I didn't hear everybody? Can I share it? Yes. Okay. So the thing about targets, if I could share it real quick, there's two important things. And you guys may know this or may not, is there's leverage, and there's reward. And this may sound like not such an important thing, but I got to tell you what I learned. And guys on the speaker, is it okay if I walk down and stuff? Cool? Okay, cool. I'd like to come visit if that's all right with you. Is that all right? Okay. So if you look at this target and you look at leverage, and if there is enough leverage, the target will get hit. It will get hit. Let me explain it. So, do you have children, Cindy? Okay, now before this works, do you love those children? Okay, because you got to love them for it to work. Okay, so let me ask you a question, and the answer is perfectly fine. But if I said, Cindy, by midnight tomorrow night, I need $10 million. Legally, can you get me 10 million? Okay, can you get me 20 million? 30. Let's just go to 100. Can you get me 100 million, or are we stretching now? We're stretching. Okay, so 100 million, not sure. Okay, I have her children now behind the room back there. They're hung up above piranhas. And this is just a simulation. Don't panic, everybody. One of you wanted to go check behind the curtain, right? But they're hanging there. And you know for a fact that if you don't achieve this, if you don't get 10 more clients, whatever it is, it doesn't matter what the target is, in this time, which the example is 100 million, they will fall and die. But not just die. Miserable death. Painful. Like just chewing one toe at a time death. This is really disgusting. But I have to make my point because I want you to think, look, people are apologizing. You're pretty sure she's not going to get the 100 million? This is a lot of confidence in this room. They're like, oh, Cindy, you're screwed. Sorry. Who should we talk to for you? No, let's know. Now, my question is this. I know it's a crazy example, but if it's a real example for Cindy, will you get $100 million by midnight? Nothing else would be acceptable. You'll do everything. You'll go up to everybody. Everybody will start polling. You'll go on the news. You'll stand on a train and yell the message. You'll do everything in your power. Isn't that true? Yes. That means for most of you, including myself, you haven't had enough leverage. See, I've had leverage for a long time because the minute I made a decision to have children, I did that decision that I would change everything that my parents did. Now, I can't tell you that all worked out for the best. Some of the stuff they did probably made sense that I should have did it. You know, maybe a little slap in the ass might have made sense. But I didn't do that with my kids. And now my son's 19 and it's just not appropriate. And he's bigger than me. He's bigger, right? But if you think about this, if I have this leverage and there's no turning back. Do you guys know the story of the burning of the boats? If you don't, write it down and look it up tonight. Write it down and look it up. Just Google the burning of the boats. And I'll give you my version. This army is going to go take over this island. And when the army hits the island, the generals turn around and they burn their boats. There's no turning back now. Guess what that means? You either take the island or what? You die. And I think what happens is a lot of you are not treating it with this sense of urgency. But see, with me, when I decided to have children, and my wife has not worked since she's 18 years old, I'm not saying that you should do the same thing. I'm just saying what we chose to do. I've been debt-free since I'm 28 years old. I have not had a mortgage. Not because I'm brilliant, because I'm really good at having leverage. And when every time I look at my children, I say to myself, I never want to tell them they can't go here, can't have that. No, we can't go to Disney World, or no, you can't have that shoe. Now, you got to be careful. I'm not saying spoil them. But I'm saying there's a difference between spoiling and that painful of no. So you guys always have this leverage. You just haven't had it shoved in your face. The second thing is you have to have reward. Because if you don't have reward, it's proven scientifically that the brain, and you should write this down, will run from pain and go to pleasure. You guys know this stuff. You just may not have put it or heard it in this context before. And if you could put, I mean, look, all of us, or most of us at one time, said we want to lose some weight. Well, the fact is, you haven't put leverage. So you look for, who's got something sitting in their damn Amazon cart right now? I mean, yeah. And it's not sitting there because you don't have the money to spend 10 bucks on that next vitamin you think that's just going to chew fat right off your ass like it's nothing. That's not the fact. Isn't that true? You know, you've done all the research. You read it. You did, like, there's 32 testimonials. I took the pill. I woke up in the morning. I looked in the mirror. Half my ass was gone. It was amazing. You didn't do it because you have some of this paralysis thing. You got some of this, overthinking thing. Do you know the average, just so you guys know, which this is really cool. Do you know what is the average amount of things people buy on Amazon every visit they go there? 3. Who said 3? Yeah, you get a gift for saying 3. It doesn't really matter if that was a lucky guess or not, but you still get a gift. Come on up and get it. And this book's on Amazon for 99 bucks, so it's a good ass gift, okay? Which is just going to probably get you to Amazon to put more stuff in your cart or something. But 3, you realize you don't even have to sell anybody anymore. The minute you have somebody even interested in your service, immediately you might as well ask them what else they need. They've been trained to buy 3 things. This is the best time in the entire world for that. Does this make sense? Say yes. Because I need to click for you, even if it clicks a little bit for you. Now, I want to share now, how do you get a business to run by itself anyway? I mean, you got to have processes and systems. I heard them talking about, write this down, okay? Processes equal profit. Processes equal profit. You guys know that. That's what gave me my life. And I learned to make a process within 15 minutes. Do you want to know how fast I learned how to make a process? Anybody want to know? Raise your hand. I'll show you how quick. Wait, what? I know I get you because I'm sharing a lot of information, so you're trying to raise your hand right, and you're like, this guy is just blowing my brain up. I get it. But do you want to know how to build a process? Raise your hand. Yes, it's easy. Because with technology, we made it so quick, you already know the problem. I'll tell you my routine. I drive about 20 minutes a day. I think, before I get in the car, I think of a problem, a situation. And I say to myself, okay, this got to be solved. It happened more than twice. If you're trying to solve, this is a lot of business owners I work with, and I work with a lot now. They'll say, yeah, I'm putting systems in place. And I'm like, okay, did you ever have the problem? And they're like, no, but I don't want it to happen. I'm like, you're solving something that didn't even break yet? This sounds weird to me. I'll tell you what's broken? And he goes, well, this is broken. So I'm like, perfect, let's do this. As we drive in, let's just record the solution. Is that easy? Push record. Send it, transcribe it. Have a copywriter or somebody for 15 bucks, put it in a template, read it, implement it. Is that quick? How much quicker could you get than that? And you can make it like Brian was brilliant. I wish he was here. I mean, he's really brilliant in automation. You make it automated. It's like record, hit button, goes out to a virtual assistant or something, transcribes it, puts it together. Is this good? Let me read. It's awesome. Implement it and do a video like they said. That's how fast you can move with this stuff in your company. And if you could get to the point you're putting in one system or one process a week, in a year, what does your business look like? Yell it out. What's it look like? Amazing. Well, the question is, why aren't you doing it? Well, there could be you don't know. Or there could be you're not in enough pain of leverage, right? You're not in enough pain to tell yourself you better move forward. Now, I'll give you a tip I do, and we've used this. One of the greatest leverage examples that I use is my manager, my director for CEO Warrior. He was also a director for Gold Medal. He had to get a task done. And if he failed to get the task done, he had to record a video and send it to his ex-wife and tell her how much he appreciated her. Which then he did. He had to do the video because he didn't do it. And I said, what did your ex-wife say? She was so calm. She said, are you dying? I thought, yeah, that was perfect. So there was leverage, but maybe not enough leverage because he didn't accomplish it. But next time I said he was going to have to hug his ex-wife, and he never failed again after that one. He accomplished it. Let's dig in here the thinking of things that causes everything. And I'm known as a person who creates permanent change, not temporary motivation. Now, some of you went through some other exercise I did, and I'd like to think if you saw me talk and went through something that there was a sense of permanent change. But I want to teach you, before we go for permanent change, a little bit of the theory first, because I think a lot of people have this confused on some stuff. And draw along with me, because as you draw, okay? It will get deeper into your brain. But if you look at this as this crazy iceberg, right? Does anybody want to get tattooed by me now? Or? Okay, well, we don't have time for me to sit here and really do artwork, okay? All right, but if we look at this, the waves, and you're going to all of a sudden, I'm going to solve every problem for you forever. I'm going to solve why you are, where your business is, success or failure, weight, success or failure, relationship, success or failure. And I'm going to show you something on how there's a little unfairness here, but only till I solve it for you. If you look at this, and some of you may know this, but the 5% is your conscious mind. Your conscious mind. And you guys know your conscious mind. That's you watching me, you laughing at me, you processing like, why is this guy got all these tattoos? He probably was a criminal and not telling us or something. You're like, why is this pinky all jacked up? Because it's got a problem, clearly, so stop staring at it. I'm not tricking you by bending it. It's messed up, right? But 5% is the conscious part of things. But here's the deal. Here's the part that you should really, really be wondering. Why you're at, where you're at, happy or not, what's the next level? It's the 95% below the surface, which is your subconscious mind. Your subconscious mind, just so you know, drives all thoughts, behaviors. It is your Mac computer. It's your computer. It's telling you what to do and what not to do. It tells you be scared or not be scared. It tells you all this. And if you don't understand this, well, then you can't go back in and rewrite this. I call it going from human to superhuman, is the ability to open a door here and rewrite that hard drive. And let's talk about how this is written. And I don't want to get crazy foo-foo on you. I'm going to make it simplistic. But I also want to share with you, how does a vocational school kid grow a company to do $200 million in 10 years and then pretty much make so much money that he never has to work for the next 10 generations if I can live 10 generations, right? That's why I want to share you. That's why I want you to focus on this. We have to open this. But how does this happen? How do you get programmed anyway? I think the best example is, let's use a baby. So, okay, this is the cute little baby, okay? Here's the cute little baby. No, I'm just kidding. This is the baby. And here's the mom. The baby's in there, mom comes in, and on top of the baby, who's afraid of spiders in here? So if I had a spider in my pocket, you'd be really freaked out now. Okay, some of you are like, I'm ready to get it. I don't have a spider in my pocket. It's just an example, okay? Here's the deal. I walk in, baby, spider, watch how creepy I can make this, is walking really slow. Is this creepy or what? I practiced this shit for you, okay? I did. Spider's walking on the baby. Baby screams, cries? No. Baby don't even know what a spider is. But wait a second. And men, you've probably experienced this. Mama bear comes in, just like that alligator show, that guy, right? He's like, there it is, off in the distance. It is a gorilla spider crawling on a child, right? So Mama bear's there, and she screams what? What the heck, spider? And she goes ninja, grabs the kid one arm, kid's in the air, swatting stuff, flying, kicking, baby screaming, spider, spider. Calling husband at work, there's a spider here. And you're like, okay, I'm at work, what do you want me to do, right? Like, I've had this conversation like 32 times in my life, right? I've been with her 33 years, pretty much once a year we have this about the spider, right? I'm like, it's only that big, it's not a wolf spider. Just step on it or spit on it, it will drown, right? But there it is, and now this kid forever is afraid of what? Spiders. And depending on the experience, and it doesn't matter if it's the spider or you were told in when you went to gym in the locker room, you're ugly or you're fat or look at your hair. Why do you have those shoes? You've been written on in your subconscious mind. And now all you worry about is, what do I look like? What do I say? How do I act? Am I completely appropriate right now? Let me make sure. You've been framed into this computer system. Does this make sense here? Your goal, though, for us today is to see if we could open this up a little bit, this subconscious key, unlock the door, go in, program some stuff by your choice, your own will. It's not hypnosis. Hypnosis is good, but it is so much stronger if it's you that opens the doorway, changes it, locks it, and that hard drive is written forever. The success hard drive. The minute I learned about profit first in this stuff, and I knew profit, and Mike will tell you, this is no bullshit, he's teaching on my stage in my event, and he says something, immediately I'm on the phone with my partner. I'm like, implement this, get multiple bank accounts, find some But the thing was, by hearing something, it unlocked the key, rewrote the way I thought about something, and locked it. Same for you, or you wouldn't be here. You wouldn't be here if you weren't on the quest for unlocking something. Isn't that true? You're not here because the world is amazing, you had nothing else better to do but hang out. You're here because life has to change and it has to improve. So I want you to understand this part right here first. The second part I want you to understand is people have confused you a little bit and they told you it's all about mind. It's all about mind. They lied to you, I'm sorry. Whoever said that, punch them in the balls. No, I'm just kidding. Don't get crazy on me. Okay, here's the thing. And I'm going to shift the way that you think forever about this. It's not about mindset. It's not. That's actually been the sabotage. It's about this. Write it down. Mind growth. It's about mind growth. Now, mindset plays a part. It does. But do you want your mind set in concrete? No, because then it's what? Stuck. Then it's stuck. And you don't want it stuck. So mindset plays a part, but we only want to set after we grow. While you're hearing me, you will grow. Something will shift inside of you before we're done, our time together. You will grow, and then my job is to help you set it and anchor it so there's no turning back. Because when any one of you in this room, I guarantee the fact is you just making a conscious decision right now that you'll be the richest, the wealthiest, the happiness. I mean, all of it comes back to happiness anyway, right? I mean, I had somebody tell me when I was doing 20 million, someone, I don't remember, maybe it was a family member. They said, well, Mike, right? They're like, Mike, money's not everything. And I turned around all calm and I said, yeah, you're perfectly well said from a broke-ass human. That's what I said. So, mind growth, we have to set it, then we want to grow again. Answer this for me. Knowledge is? No, it's a lie. My brother-in-law is one of the smartest people on the planet I know, but he's not wealthy. Why? Because applied knowledge is power. Applied knowledge is, I've learned it, I've grown, I think different, now I anchor it. This is me now, today. This is me. It's that decision you make that today is the day, this is me. And there's some other things I'm going to teach you that you have to put in place. But today, this is me. Then I ask myself, this is why, look, Jay Abraham, he's the $9.4 million man, a $1 billion guy. Why would I take him on as a one-on-one coach? Well, because one, it's very expensive and stretches the heck out of me. But two, if I stop growing, then I'm set. That's why I'm in 4 different groups with some of the highest level entrepreneurs on the planet today. Because I know that being surrounded by drivers who are driven for growth, guess what they do? They bring you up, anchor in, bring you up. So now it's this concrete pillars that you keep growing. And do you want to build a high-rise on sand? No, some of you are trying to build a high-rise on sand. Now there's one more piece after this that I've learned, and being in the martial arts for 33 years, it's my most favorite word, and I hope you learn to adopt it if you're brave enough to strive for it. And that word, and I believe it makes more happiness, more money, more wealth than anything, it's called mastery. Mastery. Once you have mastery of growing, expand. Like, you know how many people told me this? Oh yeah, I read the book, The E-Myth. Oh, Michael Gerber. And I'm like, oh, brilliant. What'd you implement? Well, I didn't really finish the whole book. Yeah, most read book on the planet. Nobody implemented one thing from it. Am I wrong? Come on, tell me I'm wrong. Maybe one of you, the 1%er, figured it out and you put up half a price. Oh, treat it like McDonald's. No, most businesses are not like McDonald's. We don't sell rat food, you know what I mean? I guess I'll never get McDonald's as a sponsor now. So can you guys edit that out, please? No, I'm just kidding. You know, but mastery is the ability and the art to be better tomorrow than you are today. That's the fact. Let me sum up another piece for you, and then I want to do a quick little exercise and see if we could start to unlock the key and shift this stuff. If we have this, you know, this little sailboat here, and this sailboat, it just kind of goes with the flow, it grows, it keeps moving, but then guess what? Something decides, and most of the time, it's you first blaming somebody else second. Someone drops the anchor down, right? So we drop this anchor and we hook it in. And some of you are like, no, it's not me. It's the economy. I don't know about you guys. Some of you probably had a hard time through the last economy. They said it was as close to Great Depression. I made at least an extra $1 million in my company every year. I didn't subscribe to the world's beliefs. I only subscribed to my beliefs. I wasn't willing to let society anchor me. I'm not willing for someone else to say, oh, why do you want to grow? Can't you just be happy where you're at? No. You seem happy. I want to be more happy, right? And I always tell people, when you think you're done making enough money, stop being selfish and make something to give away. I've given hundreds of thousands of dollars to Make-A-Wish Foundation of my own money, Cookies for a Cure that solves this very bad thing of children cancer that is disgusting, and Wounded Warriors. So when you think you made enough money, come see me, because then I'll put something in your face to let you know the reason you're stepping up is to be a world changer, all of you. Isn't that true? I mean, that's your legacy. If you're not there yet, thank you. Go ahead. Thank you. If you're not there yet, you'll get there to the legacy stage. But will you get there with the anchor? You won't. And that anchor could be the way the mind is thinking today. It could be what my dad said to me when we were maybe I was 15, 20 million, I don't remember. I remember him as a kid telling me money doesn't grow on trees. Who heard that when they were a kid? And I just figured, okay. But then when I was doing 15, 20 million, I told my dad one day when I went to visit, I said, you told me something and it wasn't true. And he said, I never lied to you. You know, Italian dad, big guy, 300 pounds. I never lied to you, son. Like we're going to fight now and stuff, you know. And I said, wait, you said money doesn't grow on trees, but I have a question. If there were lemon trees, orange trees, apple trees, couldn't I just pick that and sell it for money? And he stopped for a minute. And he said, yeah. He goes, I guess money does grow on trees. He goes, but my dad told me that, and I just passed it on to you thinking it was right. I didn't know any better. He goes, now I do. So, but that was an anchor for me. Money doesn't grow on trees. The other one is, go wash your hands. Money is dirty. So if you're programmed in your mind as a child, don't touch that. You'll get burned. And then here, my 7-year-old daughter walks across 1,200 degree hot coals on a firewalk and doesn't get burned. Don't touch that glass, you'll get cut. But then my 67-year-old mom walks across 50 pounds of broken glass and doesn't get cut. What if a lot of what you were told and taught was good to protect you then, but sabotaging you now? Let that sink in a minute. Now that's okay to understand that. What's not okay is to live within that any longer, because now you know there could be a change. Now you know that it can be different. And what we need to do to be different, and I want you to take a fresh sheet of paper now, but do me a favor, the fresh sheet of paper, rip it out of your book. So I want you to have a fresh sheet of paper ripped out of your book, and let's do something real quick together. You got it? Fresh sheet of paper? If you don't, just steal one or You'll write on your neighbor's shirt or something. All right, here's what I want you to do. With the fresh sheet of paper, I want you to write something down. But it's only going to be for you. No one else is going to see it. I want you to write down, it's hot. Wait, are you having a hot flash or it's hot in here?
So you told me I'm old, but yes,
No, I never told you were old. You told yourself you were old. I never said that. No, I would never say such a thing. I'm already have my mind convinced I'm going to live to 125. So clearly I don't think you're old. How old are you going to live? You're having hot flash? Well, that's okay. That might help through this exercise. I'm not sure yet. All right, so what I want you to write down now on here is anything that you feel is holding you back right now. But I don't have time for you to think a long time because I have a short time. I need you to think fast. If it comes to your mind and it's like, this person in my culture is holding me back, or my husband says these things, and do not have anybody call me because you went home and told your husband go F off or something. That's why I trained in case there's a confrontation. Except against Mike, that's a story how he beat me. We're not even going to share that tonight. But I want you to write down right now anything that has been holding you back, that you think's holding you back, an anchor. But I want you to make sure the anchor is whatever you believe it is. So start writing it down. I won't look, and I'm pretty sure your neighbors don't want your crap. So don't worry about anybody else seeing their stuff. Just write down, this is holding me back, What about your mind has been holding you back? I've been telling myself every night, I'm too old, I'm too young, I'm not deserving, I live in this community, I drive this car, my mom told me you'll never amount to anything, my dad said, why don't you grow up already, look at you. Whatever it is, it could be phrases, words, the way I think, it could be the environment, the culture, it could be anything. Write it down. It could be what you think your market. There's not enough customers in this market. Or you could use the best one. People don't want to pay that kind of money for that. I sold a $6,000 toilet. I'm pretty sure people have money. That thing blew air on you, did everything but bathe you. But people bought it all the time. When I used to say it's hard to find good people, how would I ever find good people? I programmed my mind of impossibility. If I say to myself, it's hard to find clients who want to pay. It's hard to find clients that want to pay. You think one day your brain just goes, boop, here's a great paying person. It doesn't. It doesn't work that way. It's the record player. So write it down. If you're looking at me, you're not writing, just listen to me. And write down anything that you feel is holding you back. It's like, I believe this, I've kept this too long, I've used this excuse. Why? Just think of, why are you not double your size? Why are you not double your profit? Why is your happiness not double? Why is your marriage not 50% more passionate than it is today? Write it down on there. Man, this is why. This is what's holding me back. It's these words, these thoughts, these things. You only have 30 seconds to do this. If you're staring at me, you might need me to give you some of your stuff you don't see. So I'd rather you just write your stuff. Now don't be freaked out if you look at me. It's okay to look up, but I want you to write down. And if somebody's not writing next to you, write some of your stuff and just hand it to them. Because they have it anyway. I get it. People don't want to face, right? They don't want to face this dark block, this darkness. They don't. And I tell all my clients, look, if you're going to work with me in the world or whatever we're going to do, you have two choices. Tell me what you want. And I'll ask you right now. Do you guys want hurtful truths or comforting lies? Hurtful truths. Yeah, you say that. Now, hurtful truths are not meant to hurt you. They're meant to know that I'm being honest. A lot of people, I think, they want comforting lies. Or you're delivering comforting lies. How do I look? Oh, you just look amazing. No, you look like shit. Now, I'm not saying to say it that way. But I'm saying it's better to deliver somebody. I want to deliver you the truth about stuff. The other thing is, and this phrase, you'll know the answer. You'll know the answer. The truth will set you free. But why don't we say the truth? The anchor is the truth. It's at least your truth now. People want to tell you this. They just tell me, you just got to be more positive. Don't you want to throat chop them people? You're like, I will mace your face and throat chop you right now and then feed you bad red meat. I don't know where that one came from, but it sounded good to say. Because you don't want people to tell you that. You ever see, I've seen positively really nasty people. They were very positive nasty. Look at, they were excited as they were nasty. You don't want to hear that stuff, but what you do want to do is we want to free the anchor. Okay, now you have the piece of paper. Now here's what I want you to do. Everybody has one. Stand up real quick, stand up. I know some of you got blankets, and this is always amazing, right? Where are we today in life that just to stand up looks like this? Oh, Jesus, really, this guy? Can't believe it. He's making me stand. Torture. Complete punishment now. All I asked you to do was stand up. That's all I asked you to do. All right, now I want you to hold this piece of paper and play along with me, and nobody touch each other, especially because men get stupid sometimes. So keep your hand, because I'm a man. My wife reminds me that was pretty dumb. You just did that. So I don't want nobody to do dumb stuff. But here's what I'm going to do, real fast. I want you just to close your eyes. Now, if you're someone who has an equilibrium problem, then don't close your eyes, because I don't want to pick you up. Otherwise, close your eyes and don't look at me. Just think in your mind a second and hold that sheet of paper and ask yourself this question, in your mind only. Ask the question is, how long do you want to live with that in your hand? Like, how long do you want to keep what's on that piece of paper? And then if you were to look at this piece of paper and you did not get rid of what's on there and you took it out, 5 years from now, you were 5 years older with this piece of paper in your hand, like, what would that feel like? 5 years older, still with the excuses, the suffering business, the suffering relationship, the suffering health, all because you didn't want to make a decision to rewrite the hard drive of the subconscious mind. People forget who's in control. It's your mind, your brain, your soul. You are in control. But if that wasn't enough, what if you carried this, what's on that piece of paper with your eyes closed? What if you went 10 years out? I mean, what would this turn into for you? Would you be overweight now? Would you have diabetes? Would you be sick to your stomach? Did you let your children down? Like, imagine 10 years of carrying this struggle, this pain, these excuses, this frustration. I mean, how? And stay with me. There's no judgments in here. Don't hold back emotions. You feel any way you want to feel. You're in a safe place. But just imagine how disgusting this would be 10 years from now. You're a little older, and all of a sudden, yeah, some of you don't even want to hold this no more, but please fight against it. Put it against your chest. Put it right against your chest and feel that. Now this, I would imagine, is pissing you off, frustrating you. It feels sick. It's dark. It's black. It's horrible. Yeah, I get it. It's garbage. But what does it look like 20 years from now for some of you? If you keep tolerating the same thing for 20 years, I'm not making the money, the company didn't grow, I'm a slave, I'm in the morning, I'm late at night, my children, I'm missing them growing, they're frustrated with me, my husband's frustrated, and then 20 years from now, and I don't want to upset you, I want to free you right now, 20 years from now, you're lonely, you're depressed, you don't know what to do with yourself, because you chose to not rewrite the hard drive. Now I want to give you the opportunity, but I need you to answer back to me, and the only person that could even see you is me. No one else could see you, and when I tell you what to say back to me, no one will even know. So do me a favor, play full out, because some of you have been playing too safe in life for too long. I want to know this, and the answer will be no. Do you want to carry this with you the next 20 years? What's the answer? No! Okay, but like, let's go really deep, because that was kind of like a no and unsure, and if you want to carry this, like, after we're done, you could package this up and tattoo this shit on your arm if you want. I know you don't want that, but I know that if we work right now till I'm done off this stage, we could open this key and we could change this. The answer is going to be no again, but I need it louder and more powerful. Don't worry about your voice. You'll listen to Mike. You don't have to yell back and stuff, but I want you to yell at me. Do you want to carry this 20 years out? What's the answer? No! Of course you don't. I'm going to ask you one more time, and then I'm going to share with you, and I know it's an emotional, but I want you then to free you from this, because when we make the conscious decision to make a move, to make it and get rid of this forever, you'll be free. That's the way it is. So I'm going to ask one more time, and I want you to stamp your foot when you say it, and I want it to be so ferocious, your answer back, that the commitment is that this will change forever. That's what I'm going to want from you. My question to you is this. Do you want to carry what's on that paper in your mind, in your soul, in your body for the next 20 years? What's the answer? No! That's right. Open your eyes. Look at me. Then make a decision right now, never again, and crumple that piece of paper. Crumple it like you never crumpled it before. Squeeze it. Just keep squeezing. Squeeze it hard. Get angry with it a little bit. I need you to really make the muscles sweat. Look at your neighbor and kind of flex a little bit. Get on that. Now my question is, you have a couple choices with this piece of paper. We're not going to do that because I don't know if we're allowed. I guess I would have to ask that. And I don't know if I want you to throw all your shit at me. Because I'm going to have to tuck and roll because I don't even want it to touch me. So here's our options right now. Option number one, you could put this in your pocket because you're unsure and take it home with you. No. Okay. Option number two, you could take it home and give it to your children. Okay, option number three, you hate your husband, you could give it to him. Option number four, if the person sitting next to you has like been taking up too much of your space, you could just give it to them. Or option number five, you could just put it on the ground as the garbage it is, and when it's time to go out there, you will pick it up and throw it in the garbage. What option do you want? You sure? All right, put it on the ground and step on it. Now, like all things, step on it. All right, step on your neighbors. All right. Last part. We have to anchor this in. You feel what you feel and we're not done. You feel what we feel, we're not done. I'm going to say 3, 2, 1, and the way that we're going to anchor this in so our mind knows that it is gone and we will never live with that again is we got to celebrate real quick. Now I don't care how you celebrate. I don't know if we could put some music on. I don't care if you jump, clap your hands, raise your fist, but I'm going to need it for the count of me going, now look guys, it's only going to be 10 seconds, but I'm a little scared at the way you got up off your seat. So I'm going to have to ask you to give it 10 seconds of everything you got. Scream, yell, clap, everything. Introverts, let it fly, okay? Here we go. 3, 2, 1, go. Let me hear it. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Take a seat. Nice job. Beautiful. Take a seat. Take a seat. Grab a pen and paper. Take a seat. We are not done. We are not done. Nice job, everybody. All right, grab a fresh sheet of paper. Let's put some process in here. Let's do some process now. Here we go. Draw a triangle. Draw a triangle. Put life in there. There is no business-life balance. There's not. There's life, and business is a part of it. Business alone is nothing without anybody there to do anything. People have been confusing you with this balance. No, there's life, and that's just one piece in it. Now, there's a couple pieces to life that I learned. One piece is wealth. Wealth. And we're going to talk about what wealth is on what I think it is, and you could add to it. Number 2, freedom. Wealth and freedom. And number 3, market domination. Now let me talk about all three here. Wealth is not about how to get there. It's first about what you want. And so many people are afraid to say, and I hope this doesn't burst anybody's bubble, but this whole millionaire thing, this is almost the norm today. It's getting to the norm. It's not exceptional no more. Someone comes up to me or like, oh yeah, he gets on stage, he's like, I'm a millionaire. I'm like, all right, it's kind of the norm, man. Like, if you're not there, it's just you haven't figured some stuff out. This ain't like years ago. 10 years ago, be a millionaire, you're like, oh, this was magical. Not today. There's money flying everywhere today. Who's from the day of like, there was no beeper, no cell phone, no nothing? Who's from those days? Okay, now that was impressive to make $1 million. Like, you remember that phone with the cord? Shh. around the shit you had to go and talk back here, and every now and then you'd let go and it didn't get all knotted up. Like, that was the real world. Today, oh, hang on a minute, let me make some money. Grab your iPhone, you're like, boom, money. It's so fast today. Automation. Remember the payphones? Be honest with me. Every time you went to a payphone, how many of you stuck your finger in that dirty hole? That was completely inappropriate. You're the dirty mind, not me. It was only really bad if you smelled your finger or something, right? That's really bad. Okay, that's bad, that's bad. All right. Now get back with me, okay? And some of you got really dirty minds, you're laughing at that stuff. That makes you worse than me. Okay, here we go. Now, what I want you to do is I want you to write down real quick, not where you are today, where do you want to be tomorrow? But don't worry about, do not worry about the how. I just want you to worry about what you want. If you were not brave enough to write down what you want, you can't get there. You know it, you got to believe it to what? Achieve it. So I need you real quick, and you'll go back and fill this out more tonight, because you'll be thinking about me tonight, I promise you. Then you'll go deeper in that paper. So just write down real quick, real fast, 2 or 3 things you want, that it's a demand. Write it down. You're going to double your business. You're going to be free from your business. This business is going to start to run itself some. You're not going to be a slave to the system. Oh, I'm the only one in the office that knows this accounting stuff. No, I'm pretty sure out of the billions of people in the world, there's other people that are smart too. Right? So write that down. What do you want? Give you a minute about it. I'll take a drink. Write fast. Morse code, whatever you got to do. Okay, next thing. So first you got to know where you want to go. Then you just write down, you'll reverse engineer it. That's what people like Mike help you do. The goal is to reverse engineer the journey. Where's the destination? And then I just ask my, like, is it any harder than this, everybody? Where are you at? Where do you want to go? Reverse engineer the action steps to get there. You realize you're not the first one in the world growing this business, right? You realize success leaves clues, right? You realize other people have ran the journey. Stop trying to re-engineer the wheel. The wheel is out there. Now, there's an important thing about the wheel that I want to tell you guys to go for this wealth. You have to be your very best self that you want to be. You have to be. When I started CEO Warrior, I went out here in a, can you even imagine, you're probably going to throw up in your mouth, I'm telling you. Can you imagine me in slacks, with no goatee, with a button-down shirt? I mean, no, you're like, you threw up, right? It's horrible, it's horrible. And I'm telling my wife, I am dying wearing this. And my wife is so beautiful, she's my goddess. She says to me, well, she puts everything so simple, she's like, oh, well then just don't do that. And it was so simple, it changed my life forever. And I was like, throw all the shirts out. She's like, what if you have to go to an event and wear that? I said, I won't go. If someone invites me to a place and I have to wear a tie and jacket, I will not. I don't care if it's Richard Branson. I don't care if it's the president. I won't go. I just won't go. Because that's not me. So I would say for you to get to this wealth, you have to understand, you have to be the purest you, and then people will be magnetized to that. And you'll be free forever. Stop worrying like, I remember my daughter. Anybody's daughter have purple hair at one time? Or did you fight it? Yeah. My daughter wants purple hair at 12. My wife says, I don't know about this. And I said, well, what? Let's look at it. What are we afraid of? Are we afraid of her purple hair or what other people think? Because when we're afraid what other people think, then how do you tell an artist, a girl artist who's creative, not to put creativity in her hair? This could ruin her the rest of her life. It's just a trend. When she's done, purple will go away. But I wanted to teach my daughter, be yourself, whatever that is. And it sounds maybe like this is normal, but some of you are not doing that. You think you're in an industry, and people tell, nope, you don't know about my industry. And I'm like, really? Why don't you tell me about your jail cell that you're in? Because that's what a lot of people are in. And that's what's holding them back. Because they're not pure. Now, I'm not telling you to be a slob even though some of the richest people in the world just, they look like plain Jane people. Does this make sense? Yes? And some of you, just the fact of doing that today will free you. Now let's talk about freedom. Freedom is about, I would say, more about your not to-do list than your to-do list. You might want to write that down. Because if you think about it, and if I asked all of you this, how many of you, and don't bullshit me, be honest with me. How many of you, before you go to bed, you have your plan written out for your next day? Raise your hand. Before you, no matter what. Okay, what is this? That's 10% of the room. But if I tell you that the traits of the richest in the world, including myself, do not go to sleep until we have a plan of success for tomorrow, why would you all not do that? Now stop going to Staples and looking for the perfect planner. I've spent thousands of dollars on every flip tablet, every book with 3 holes, grids, sheets, monthly calendars, and they never work. I always go back to, who's it like a yellow or white pad monster? You just, right? That's all I do. And if I'm traveling, I don't even bring the pad. I bring a little index card, and I write my plan for tomorrow on that card. And it sounds like it's easy. I'm not going to say it's easy. It takes discipline and focus till it's a habit. But when you do it, did you ever wake up in the morning and felt like you didn't sleep? Raise your hand if that's happened. Yeah, I know why, because your plan is trying to happen in your mind while you sleep. The minute you write it on paper, your mind says you don't need to remember that. You can now sleep and dream. And this is scientifically proven. I'm not giving you foo-foo stuff like I took some kind of mushroom or something. Woke up on the mountain all zen and everything. You write it down. It's out of your brain. Your brain does not have to do that now, and it could heal and focus and dream. When you wake up in the morning, you're like, here's the card. Let's do this. Write that down as an action item for you, please. Write that down as an action item that you're going to consider doing it. I can't force you to do it. I'm not your dad. But I'm going to tell you, if you want greater levels of success, teach your people this, and you do it first. Because if the leader doesn't do it, nobody will do it. You must do it first and prove it out. Now let me talk about market domination. Market domination is my favorite. Who's on my social media, my Facebook or anybody? Okay, if not, get on there, not because I need more friends. Get on there because you want to see what domination looks like. I will haunt you and hunt you. But, did someone say yes you are? Thank you. But, that's market domination. Market domination is nothing more than you want to be the king or the queen of the castle. You want to say, because market dominators, some do it for themselves. I do it like I hope you adapt doing it because you want to shift something. You want to change. I thought of an idea. I can't share the exact idea, but this is going to be so profound. I believe in the next 10, 20 years, it's going to change poverty. It's going to change homelessness. I thought of this on the plane coming back from Samsung. You know why? Because I don't believe I'm human. I believe I'm superhuman and can change anything I want. Just like you can. You just have to believe that, right? Domination is the ability to say, I will be the best and own this market. Just like I owned New Jersey. Just like I own CEO Warrior is the top training and coaching organization in the world right now for what we do. But I want to give you, is it cool if I give you the action steps, some of the key pieces to this? Would that be cool? Yes? Yes. Give me a good old yes. Yes? Yes? Okay, cool. All right, so the first thing is you have to understand your personal brand. We just talked about that a little bit. Who you are, what you stand for. A lot of companies, now don't do the mistake I did. I started CEO Warrior where I was the face and the brand. I wouldn't do that. I would be the voice of the brand. Okay, Steve Jobs was not Apple. He was the voice of Apple. Who's an Apple user, by the way, anyway? Who's not an Apple user? Please leave. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Whatever works for you, good. You must have the personal brand. You must understand your business brand. You must understand it. I mean, when I look at Mike's stuff with like this pig on it and stuff, you have to be willing to break the norms of the normal. That's what breaks through today. Your personal brand. Some of you probably got to reinvent it a little bit. Some of you, it was good 20 years ago and it's got to be fresh. Probably every 10 years, your brand needs a little tweak, a little jet fuel, a little motivation. Anybody disagree on this? I mean, Coca-Cola, all of a sudden there's a polar bear for a reason, to make an image. There's a slight little adjustment, a ribbon added, a color, whatever it is. So you got to have your personal brand, your voice. You got to have your business brand. Your business brand. The next thing that I'm going to tell you is you have to understand your market share. This is mission critical. Once you understand how many people there are that are your perfect avatar that would buy from you, and people, you don't have to sell anybody anything. They're purchasing, write this down. People, and look, I'm in a world where everybody's trying to get your attention. Every sales guru, Grant Cardone, all these people are trying to get, let me simplify it for you. People buy value. Done. We're done. Whole sales training right there. Remember, ask questions, buy value. That's all. And if people are saying, oh, that's a lot, or is that your normal fee? You're not delivering value. Value gets yes all the time. Write this down too. Never, 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 and I think okay, don't teach your kids this, but for you it's good. Never hear the word no. Hear not now or not yet. Never hear the words no. Oh, did you say not yet or not now? Right? I don't hear we're not going to do business. It's not yet. Okay? Not now. It's never a no. The next thing, I want to give you which this will go great with Brian's. I wish he was here because he is such a wicked smart person. Frequency. This is your marketing lesson. I gave you your sales lesson. Let me give you your marketing lesson to build an empire. Frequency. The more you are seen, which they used to say this, so who knows what's true today? They say, oh, they need to see your brand 6 to 8 times before they remember you. Okay, that was before an iPhone. What do they need to see you now? 600? They're like, no, 23. Come on, really? If you pick up your phone, you got 42 texts, 18 emails, right? Amazon sent you 32 messages. They're still trying to sell you that pill to take your ass away. But if you understand frequency, you understand that if I stay in the mind and I'm everywhere they are and they see me all the time and I am giving value first. I say this, get rid of the word selling, just cross it out and call it serving. I have won every game, every business, grew it faster than everybody that I know in my world by serving better than everybody else instead of worrying about selling them something. I'm going to give you one last piece while we get towards to the end here. This changed my life when someone told me this. I wish I knew which mentor. I don't remember because I've spent over $1.4 million on my own education. And that's no joke. I could show you all of it. I've trained with everybody on the planet. They told me this, Mike, there's Anthony Robbins and everyone else. In the world of leadership, there's John Maxwell, everyone else. In the world of profit, there's Mike Michalowicz and everyone else. He goes, you're either the number one or you're everyone else. And then that was a big lesson. He says, so if you're going to step and grow a company, he said, play the game the best you can be. And I was like, man, that's good. He said, number two, I'm going to give you, make it a movement. Make it a movement. It's like profit first. I mean, Mike spoke at my event so many times. I'm so honored all the time. And this is a movement. Profit is something that it's unacceptable behavior not to have profit. If you don't have profit, you're losing. So when you could create your business and come across to the people as this is a movement, it will change the game. Okay? Next thing, be relentless. Be relentless. You have to move faster, have more energy, have more excitement. You have to live and breathe in power every day. You must be relentless for the journey. And then the last part, and I hope I don't know if Mike's in here, but I'm going to open up for a couple questions for our last couple minutes, is write this phrase down because this has served me so well for so many years. And, well, I'm going to give you two. This is a recent one for me, and then I'll give you the old one. Write this down. What are you thinking about? What are you thinking about? What are you thinking about? What should you be thinking about? I wonder if that's as profound to you as it is to me. What are you thinking about versus what should you be thinking about right now? Oh, I'm thinking about buying this thing on Amazon and getting a free apple peeler. Well, what I should be thinking about is putting a system in my company. What do you think? I'm thinking about what I'm going to watch. My wife watches this Big Brother. Anybody else watch this? This is a ridiculous show. And if it ain't that one, it's the housewives of 32 different counties. And I don't get any of them. But I watch it because I'm amused by human behavior of stupidity, right? So I entertain and watch it with her to spend time on that. But if you think about that, what are you thinking about? What should you be thinking about? The other thing is this one here. You have to be willing to do, write it down, you have to be willing to do what others won't do. You have to be willing to do what others won't do so you can have what others could only dream of having. That's what I want you to think about there. Now, let me open it up for a couple minutes. And what I'd like to do is get either a question from you guys about anything before I finish, which is only about 2 minutes, or if somebody's willing to give a feedback of what their greatest, let's do that. That'll be better use of our time. Because when you share feedback, other people hear it. What is a greatest nugget that you picked up from my talk that you're like, that's a game changer, or something that happened through the process? Who would start us off first? Okay, I'm going to come here because it's close. Yes, sir? Talk to everybody.
I really like the idea of writing down essentially your to-do list for the next day, or your success plan.
Yeah, game changer. Here you go, brother. Take that. All right, right here.
So my biggest one is the simplicity. You showed us how to create processes, which is recording the solution, sending it off to be transcribed,
Yep.
videoing it, and then implementing it.
Done.
And they'll-
Nice job. There you go. I'm going to walk this way. I want to tell you something about processes. Most important thing, keep your hands up. Remember, it's less hard than standing. Okay? The point about processes, the last part on the bottom says this. At any time, this process does not fit our interior or exterior customer, our in-house or out-house customer. You are responsible to modify and improve this process. That's key. I'm going to go with you next, because you did such an amazing job sharing up there. I'm going to give this to you first, because I don't want to reach over after. Share.
Well, my favorite part from today was you have to be willing to do what others won't do so you can have what others might.
Man, I could have just did that and left in the beginning. That would have been great. Good, I'm glad you got that. Let's go here, and then I'm going to come to the back. Stand up and tell everybody.
The simplicity of the reverse engineering of where you want to go and where you're at now.
Yeah, very nice. We're going to go right over here. Take this and then share it.
I really liked what you said in the beginning. What if we, to your partner or to maybe ex-partner, what if we hired the smartest people in the world
That's right.
to train us to do what we want to do?
Learn. Yeah, there's no greater investment than in yourself. And I'm going to do the last one here. Stand up, please, and share.
The biggest takeaway is the 5% conscious mind, but the 95% subconscious mind drives all decisions. That
Yeah.
is a huge thing for me because I've thought about mindset, but I've never really thought about the fact that it is truly driving all my decisions.
100%. Thank you for that. So here's what I'd like to do now. First, I would like to tell you that it is a huge honor of mine to serve you today. Thank you very much. I hope this time was rewarding and that your life changes. Thank you.